We should think about always having a story to tell or a song to sing, because we never know what might be the consequence. And this story is called The Man Who Had No Story. So there was a fella called Johnny, and he was going over the mountains one evening, and just like our Leary brother friends, I guess there's a lot of fog in the north of Leitrim up in those high mountains. Not very high, but you know where I mean. Easy enough for a fog to come in and get lost without a metalled road. We're also used to metalled roads and card headlights these days. So Johnny found a place where he could knock on the door and ask, as was the custom, for a meal and a bed. And he was invited in, and the meal was shared, and then the family sat around the fire before they went to bed. And the host said to Johnny, "You'll have a story to tell us, do you?" "No," said Johnny, "I don't know any stories." "Oh, well, you're bound to have a song." No, I don't have a song." "Do you have a whistle? Do you play an instrument?" "Oh, no, nothing like that. No, I'm afraid I don't." And the man and the woman looked at his wife, and the man and the woman looked at each other and said, "It's most unusual to have a guest who can't sing a song, tell a story, play an instrument. You must be tired," they said to John. "Oh yeah, I'm pretty tired. I wouldn't mind going to bed as soon as I can." So the host said to his wife, "I think it's time that you just prepared a bed for our guest this evening. He's obviously really tired, so tired he can't tell a story or sing a song." But what Johnny wasn't aware of, that the man whispered to his wife, was, "He'll have a story by the time the night's out." And so Johnny went up to the room that was prepared for him. Now, he'd been planning to go to the fair to buy a horse, and he was carrying a fair bit of cash with him. And he was a bit worried, since he was in a stranger's house, that anything could happen while he was sleeping. He might get robbed of his money. So he took off all of his clothes, and then he put on his outer jacket that had lots of deep pockets, put that next to his chest, and then started putting on his shirt again, and got well rolled up under the covers, and was about to go to sleep. And he heard somebody come into the room, and he looked around, and it was the wife of his host. And she started getting into the bed with him and pulling the covers over her. And he said, get out, what are you doing? You can't do this. This isn't right." "Oh no, it's all right." She said, "My husband's going to be out all night. He's away to awake." No, you can't." Yes, it's all right. "Put your arms round me." And just at that moment, the door burst open again, and a man with a pitchfork was standing there, and of course it was the host, and he said, "I can't believe it. You come to my house and I give you a meal, and you get into my bed, and you don't even have a story or a song to sing before we all go to bed, and now you're in bed with my wife. Get out of my house before I kill you." Well, Johnny was just in such shock, sat up in bed, bolt upright, ran down the stairs into the cold night. It was so dark, and where'll I go, and he saw a light not so far away, a few hundred yards down the hill, and he raced down the hill, burst open the door, straight into the wake that was happening down the valley. And everybody looked at him, and they were as shocked as he was to see them. And the man who was in charge of the wake house came over and said, come over, just have a seat. What's happened? And when Johnny sat there, he said where he'd come from and what had been going on. And the man said, "Johnny, I know exactly who you mean. That neighbour of mine is such a prankster, and he's always looking on somebody to play a trick. It'll all have been a trick. He'll come over soon, and it'll all be sorted out." And so the people at the wake were all just calmed down and got back to their praying, and Johnny was sitting here shaking with the cold, but he had a fine whiskey in his hand now, so it was just warming him a wee bitty. Well, Johnny's original host came in later on and saw him. "Look at you now! Ha! I bet you've got a story to tell." "Story to tell? What do you mean? Was that a trick you played on me?" "Of course it was," he said. "Come on round back to my house and I'll give you a fine mug of tea before you go to your bed. But I'm sure when you leave here in the morning, you'll have at least one story to tell your neighbours." And Johnny said, "I will have that indeed, but I'll tell you, they'll think I made it up. Never mind if they think you made it up, at least the next time you go to somebody's house for a meal and you sit by the fire, you've got one story to tell. Isn't that better than having none?" And he said, "Ah, you're right." So that's